when you make tzitzis, okay, they're very 4 long strings, go into the hole, it's doubled, and then when you make the knots and everything, you end up with 8 strings. Now, before a person there's a lot of dinim tzitzis, we're just going to learn the practical ones. Before a person puts on tzitzis in the morning, whether it's the big talis or talis katan, you're supposed to check the tzitzis, make sure you have 8, make sure the knots are tied, make sure it didn't rip at the bottom where it's connected to the garment. You have to separate the threads, except on Shabbos you don't separate the threads. Okay, so then it's also a custom, by the way. Okay, people that don't wear a big talis for davening make a brach on the tzitzis. Okay, mitzvah tzitzis. But those that wear a big talis, like Svardim or Ashkenazim after they get married, when they wear a big talis, then the minig is you don't make a brach on the talis katan, because the bracha you make on the talis gadol also goes for the talis katan. Okay, you can only also make a bracha on tzitzis only during the day. Now, what's the earliest you can make a bracha on tzitzis? So the best time is Mishayakir, with different types of Mishayakir, but the bottom line in halacha is when you can, in other words, if it's dark outside, but there's enough light coming through that you recognize a semi-friendly friend 6 feet away. Now, how much is that in time? It's interesting because halacha poskim say there's really no time. There's no set amount, like there's 72 minutes. There's no set time. Some poskim hold, like the Pri Megadim holds, that 6 minutes after Amud HaShachar, after dawn, is already you're able to make a bracha on the tzitzis. The Kaf Chaim brings down that in Yerushalayim, an hour before sunrise, they would make a bracha already on the tzitzis, which is basically the same time as the Pri Megadim's amount.
But Rabbi,
What? Yeah, that's what I just said, but I said it in English.
Okay, I did not hear. Sorry.
Someone wakes up with a talis katan has to say a bracha at the same talis or change it if you change it.
Okay, we're going to come into that soon. I don't know, maybe today, I don't know, we're going to get there. If you wake up at the same talis katan, then you can't make a bracha on it, because you didn't change it. You're wearing it the whole time. Many people have a night garment of tzitzis, and then they wear a day garment of tzitzis. So then they make a bracha when they change the garment in the morning.
So every time someone wants to change a talis katan has to make a new bracha?
Technically, again, men that wear a talis gadol don't do that. But technically, let's say Friday afternoon, you have a special Shabbos pair of tzitzis. So Friday afternoon, you change from your weekday tzitzis to the Shabbos tzitzis. Technically, you would have to make a bracha, yeah.
You do that.
Huh?
You do that.
Not if you're married, because then you don't make a bracha on talis katan at all. But on Shulchan Aruch it says you make a bracha. What?
After the nas, they extended the string. How long should that be?
Okay,
If it's cut-
let me just get...
Rabbi, did I understand that clearly that it's not required to wear?
One second. Okay. The proper length of the tzitzis should be that the knot part, the knots, is a third of this. In other words, that the length, the length of the strings hanging should be double the size that there is with the knots. You know what I mean? That means this should be the one with the knots, the part with the knots, should be a third of the whole thing. So the loose ones should be 2/3. That's the proper size. But the Eved, Marshall, they see this one is torn. It's still kosher if it's long enough that you can make a knot. But if
all of them are like that length?
But the Eved, it's kosher, but l'chatchila you have to. It's not proper because the proper length of the tzitzis should be that the knots, which is 5 knots, and 7, 8, 11, 13, right? Because that's 7, 8 is 15, right? So that's Yud K. And then you have the second 11 and 13. That equals. No, 1 second. What am I doing? What am I talking about? My brain's not working. Okay, we'll get there in a minute. What? What were you saying? Something?
I want to know, so Balabas was married, then I don't need to make a bracha to change it. It is because you don't make you could sleep and go on the day after.
Yeah, when you b'chalas, but you shouldn't sleep and wear the same garments you slept in. But yeah, that's not a problem.
That includes the tzitzis or the that's the outer garments, no?
The outer garments, but tzitzis is an outer garment and a garment.
And you.
It's not so simple. The tzitzis could be an outer, and if you wear it over your shirt.
It's outer.
First, I'll give you an example, not about this. God forbid a mourner, yeah, for a parent, tears his jacket and his shirt, correct? Okay? Do you tear your tzitzis?
No.
Why not? Because the Big Yosef says you don't. you don't tear the tzitzis. Okay? But, okay, anyway. So, again, you're supposed to sleep in your tzitzis. You're supposed to, in fact, there's a letter, somebody asked the Rabbi, you heard that there are certain leniencies in sleeping in the tzitzis at night. The Rabbi said, never said such a thing. And there are no leniencies. B'chlal, okay, let me explain this concept of tzitzis, why people sleep in the tzitzis, and a few things. Nighttime, we said, basically doesn't need tzitzis, correct? Oh, yesterday we were talking about the blanket.
Right.
Okay, nobody remembered. Okay, so now the thing is, night garments don't need tzitzis. Day garments do need tzitzis. Yes? Now what happens if you wear a night garment during the day? Or a day garment at night? Got it? The night garments don't need tzitzis. Day garments do need tzitzis. So now what happens if you wear a day garment at night?
You get confused.
Do you need tzitzis or don't you need tzitzis? So there's a very big machlekes in the Rishonim if you need tzitzis or not. Or if you wear a night garment during the day. Do you need tzitzis on the garment or not? Okay? So the pearl, there's a big machlekes about this. So that's why, number one, like this. Why should a person sleep in tzitzis? Number one, when you wake up, it's already day. So then part of the day, you're not wearing tzitzis yet already. You're not wearing tzitzis already.
Who wakes up early?
Secondly, the problem is that a tzitzis garment that you wear is not a night garment. A blanket is a night garment. A blanket is made for a bed. A bed is used to sleep at night. The Gemara says you shouldn't be sleeping during the day. So therefore, a blanket. Remember we mentioned yesterday, why don't you need tzitzis on a blanket? So you don't need tzitzis on a blanket because it's a night garment. So therefore, according to many Rishonim, even if you sleep during the day, but because a blanket is designated for night, you wouldn't need tzitzis on a blanket. But if you wear a regular pair of tzitzis, it's not a day garment, it's not a night garment. It's really a day garment. It's not made for sleeping. It's made to wear. So then you're mekayim the mitzvah, according to many poskim, even at night when you're wearing it, because it's a day garment, you're wearing tzitzis at night, you're still mekayim the mitzvah of tzitzis. So that's, what did you say? That I said you didn't have to wear tzitzis? I said there's no biblical mitzvah to wear tzitzis, to buy a four-cornered garment to wear tzitzis. But the Chachamim say that even though you don't, it's proper and good, and there's no question that that's what everybody should do. And that's what the Gemara says, the Shechnor says that that's what a person should do, because number one, they're getting a mitzvah. Secondly, they're reminding themselves of all the mitzvahs of the Torah.
Rabbi, we need to tie the tzitzis to come to 613 mitzvahs.
The word tzitzis, tzadik yud sof, is 600. Then you have 5 knots and 8 strings. It's 13. So when you have 5 knots and 8 strings, it's 13, and plus the word tzitzis equals 600. So then it reminds yourself of all the mitzvahs of the Torah. Huh? What? I know, but they say the way tzitzis is spelled. Glad the Rashi brings it down on Chumash, and they ask, okay, whatever. Okay, next. Now the question is like this: can somebody put tzitzis into a garment at night? You know, people that make tzitzis, bachrim make tzitzis. Okay, are you allowed to put tzitzis into a garment at night? What's the question? Nighttime, you're not obligated in tzitzis. So the question is, can you put tzitzis in a garment in a time that you're not obligated to wear tzitzis? Or for instance, another question would be, women are not obligated in tzitzis. Yeah? Can they tie tzitzis? Or a better question is, kids under bar mitzvah are not obligated in mitzvahs. Can a 12-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid, 10-year-old kid learn to make tzitzis and put in a garment for a person who's bar mitzvah? So that the poskim right is better not. It's better not that not women and not kids should put in tzitzis in a garment because they're not obligated in tzitzis. But it's interesting about making tzitzis at night, if you're allowed to do it or not, is a machlekes and halacha between the Prima Godim and the Levush. One says you could do it lechatchila, and the other one says it's possible even b'diavad. The Rebbe Rashab did tell the Rav then, Rabbi Yaakov Lando, that you could make tzitzis at night. That you're able to make tzitzis at night, even though I once heard that the Rebbe gave out a pair of tzitzis for somebody to make, a bacher to make, and he told him not to make it at night. But the Rabbi Yaakov Lando said the Rebbe Rashab told him clearly that you're allowed to make tzitzis at night, even though you're making it at a time when you're not obligated to make the tzitzis. Okay. Machet Shinas Ramaisa Ma'amach Beba Mayin Kim Shivala Gal Teira. Bechanan Me'akash Shemeratzer Ba'achul Zak Yisrael V'Gerebel Am Termish